Who isn't as smart as people think? Finally, my username is relevant. That one guy in every meeting who says, let's circle back, but never actually knows what we're circling back to. I had my IQ tested to 140 as a kid, but I kind of just burnt out and got lazy as an adult type of guy that makes up like 75% of Reddit. Edit. Feels like the 75% found my comment and are all replying. Themselves. Terrence Howard. Pretty much everyone. Myself absolutely included. I'm beginning to think Homer Simpson was not the brilliant tactician I thought he was. My mom can't handle feeling like other people are smarter than her despite being about average. It's a consistent pattern which has nothing to do with me. She likes to insult me and tell me I'm not as smart as I used to be because she could handle having a smart kid as that reflected well on her. But an adult that is smarter than her? Oh no, she cannot cope with that at all. So I'm stupid now, I guess, LOL. Your child. Everyone thinks their kid is special. They're not special. Unless they actually are special, I guess. Redditors. My dad. He swears his IQ blows anyone out the water, and people believe him. He flaunts himself as the smartest in the room at any given time. He's a Scientologist and took their IQ test and got a high score, so his Scientology buddies look up to him. I took the same test because he wanted me to, despite not giving a rat's ass about Scientology, and got a higher score than him. His buddies started to praise him for having his IQ rub off on me. I find it funny now. 90% of people who post on Reddit. Kinda random, but Wolf Blitzer. I was watching Celebrity Jeopardy years ago with my parents, and Wolf Blitzer was thousands of dollars in the hole while Andy Richter was absolutely crushing it. It must have been pretty embarrassing for him, given the image you'd want to keep as a serious journalist. Not that this really discredits any of his journalism work. Elon Musk. Watching that painful so-called interview he did with Trump was really eye-opening. Billionaires in general. People tend to think there's a direct link between wealth and intelligence. There isn't. The vast majority of super wealthy were born on third base. They aren't smarter than others, they're better connected. And once you get into the upper echelons of a field, your ability to network tends to dictate your success. Chap. Bill Nye is less smart than people think he is. Dolph Lundgren is smarter than people think he is. Bill Maher. Every manager I've ever met. Sometimes people put a lot of trust in celebrities or influencers for their opinions on things outside their expertise, and they're not always as knowledgeable as they seem. People who just memorize the material. I have a cousin who would only memorize whatever she had to study, literally copy-paste, and when ID asked her to elaborate more, she's like, I don't understand it, but it doesn't matter because I memorized XYZ. Steve Jobs comes to mind. Sure, he knew the tech back in the day, but he had people like Wozniak to do the heavy lifting. It's not that he's a genius, it's that the guy was so brazen that he often got away with all of his stuff. And at a certain point of prestige, people aren't going to call you out for being a bastard. They're just envious of your ability to get away with it, so naturally they start to revere you. Dr. Phil, Dr. Drew, Dr. Oz. Call yourselves doctors, but one isn't one, and the others are shills with outdated medical advice. Russell Brand. I think some celebrities aren't as smart as people think just because they're successful or famous. Most anyone interviewed on television. I've worked in the same industry for 30 plus years. I like to think I have a decent amount of knowledge on my subject, but it is a niche subject. A few times a year, there will be a news event or a crime show, think Dateline or 2020ths, that uses part of my knowledge base. The people being interviewed will completely bastardize the science, and many times be completely wrong. It makes me wonder how many other stories/subjects I see on the news, areas I only have cursory knowledge about, where I'm completely receiving the wrong information, but don't know enough to recognize it. Oprah maybe? I think Oprah is a wise, intelligent woman and an expert in broadcast journalism and entertaining to listen to. However, I don't think Oprah's 2 cents are worth more than the next person's. Oprah's take is usually positivity and common sense. I suppose it all comes down to the problem we have with people idolizing celebrities too much. I think it's fine to admire someone and take their advice, but I don't think you should admire Oprah more than the doctor who treated a loved one for cancer or something. Yet that frequently seems to be the case. Joe Rogan. He's got a dedicated following, many of whom reference him as some font of wisdom. I suspect it's because many of his followers are encountering the ideas he discusses for the first time, but there is no depth to his arguments, often no hard evidence, and a lack of critical thought. There are so many better sources in the podcast world and on YouTube, I don't know why folks settle for him. Jordan Peterson and Elon Musk. Jordan Peterson is an expert in psychology only, and he's unreliable when he branches out. He uses intellectual language to make the things he says seem deeper a lot. Elon Musk wants the image of being smart, but pays other people to do a lot of the difficult, smart stuff and makes bad, ego-based decisions sometimes. Most anyone, even someone who is brilliant in their particular field of study, can be an absolute dunce in every other way. Trump recently. I'll talk about like 9 different things, and they all come back brilliantly together. And it's like friends of mine that are like English professors. They say it's the most brilliant thing I've ever seen. Elon Musk. He's a decent hype man, but after seeing what he's done with Twitter, he's definitely not as sharp as his PR team wants us to believe. MO. People who are amazing at remembering things aren't that intelligent. It's an amazing skill I certainly wish I had, but I wouldn't consider it a smart thing. To me, a person who is smart is someone who can be presented with a problem and map out the best solutions. Fast talkers like Ben Shapiro are often mistaken for intelligent because they have quick wit. That is not the same as actually wise people. People who trade crypto. My boss. Donald Trump. Confident, charismatic people. Smart people are keenly aware of limitations and detail. That makes them shy and careful. Beware of loudmouths. 91% of Reddit. Celebrities.